If you are on Medicare or you will be on it soon, then you definitely want to stick with me today because we're going to share with you how to save thousands of dollars on your health care as we share Medicare Made Easy, how to get the best health care in 2025 and beyond. Good morning. Welcome to Protect Your Assets. I'm David Hollander, your host. What a beautiful day outside. For those of you just joining us for the first time, welcome. They call me the Sandman because I help my clients sleep well at night by answering all their most troubled tax, legal, or financial questions, and that's because I've been doing this for over 30 years. What a show for you today. There is one common thread with virtually every client I've been talking to these past few weeks. It's almost like a widespread panic. Nothing to do with the election. Has to do with your Medicare and the skyrocketing cost of your health care in retirement today. Right now, clients are calling us in droves with one of two different scenarios. One, they received a health insurance premium increase of somewhere between 25 and get this 50%, or two, they've been handed a 25 to 50% increase in premium, and it's coupled with a cancellation notice of their health insurance policy in the months to come. Have a nice day. Combine one of these two scenarios with the recent research study that projecting a typical couple, 65 years and older, is going to need almost $600,000 in healthcare expenses in retirement. Well, you've got yourself a perfect storm. This isn't a political conversation. It has nothing to do with the election. Nobody's taking any sides here. The health insurance companies are blind to you. This is a huge financial hurdle that faces everyone, including you. Don't kid yourself. And if it's not a concern of yours, well, it should be right now, as your window to look at your benefits just opened yesterday. So today, we're going to help you get the best health care you can in 2025 and beyond. If you've ever wondered about Medicare, then you don't want to miss this show today. You're going to get a real education. It's all coming up next. So stick with me now. Let's get started. Well, lower rates and the positive market momentum seem to be on the horizon this past week, which is typically a very volatile week as we lead up to the final days before the election. The Dow was off just a little bit, 0.1% for the week. S&P off 1.4, NASDAQ off 1.5. The MSCI International off 1.2. 10-year Treasury holding in at 4.38. And oil down 3.1%, closed at $69.54 a barrel. Bonds year to date off a little bit, 0.9%. Update 2025. First thing that's coming out besides Medicare, which we're going to talk about today, is the catch-up. If you happen to be 60 to 63, you are in a special situation. I got a text this morning from my buddy, and he said, hey, should I be doing this right now? And I said, whoa, hold on. So he's turning 60 in a week. And for those of you who are between the ages of 60 and 63, starting next year in 25, you have a special feature, which is you can put away an additional $10,000 into your 401k. Yeah, above and beyond the normal. This is just like a special catch-up for those 60 to 63. So, John, thanks for asking. Yeah, you should do that. So these are the things that are coming out in 25, just like Medicare. I don't know if you saw this, but Social Security is another one. We do shows just on Social Security because Social Security is really important. And I don't know if you heard this, but Social Security is expected right now in 2025 to go up 2.5%. Yeah, another 2.5%. You remember in 24, we had an increase of 3.2%. So nothing like we saw, in 21 where they were really ratcheting it up. But hey, every little bit counts and just means you're going to get more money. So as I was just talking about, we're going to talk more today about Medicare because it's very confusing. Which option should you go with? How do you get it? What should you look at? What should you be concerned with? When did you do it? All these things we're going to talk about today because the window just opened up for you to look at these things. Your Medicare window just opened yesterday, and it's going to remain open until December 7th. And once that day rolls around, then you're done. So now's the time to be looking at your benefits, see what you could be changing, what makes sense, where you could save some money. Because let's face it, you may have benefits right now that you don't really use or need because you're healthy and you're paying for all that. And that's just a waste of money. So if you like throwing dollars out, I love that visual. You're driving down the road and you're throwing money out the window. You ever seen that? Go check it out on YouTube. It's kind of funny. Anyway, that's what you're doing. You're driving down the road. You're throwing money out the window right now, and maybe you don't even know it. So if you don't like doing that and you want to change that, then let's talk about your Medicare today and what you could be doing. Find out what you need to know when I come back so you can start making some better decisions. You're listening to Protect Your Assets Show. I am David Hollander, the Sandman, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm David Hollander, also known as the Sandman. And that's because I help my listeners sleep well at night by answering all your tax, legal, and financial questions each morning on Saturdays live right here. So I don't know if you heard, but Social Security is supposed to get a boost next year, up 2.5%. And speaking of increases, right now, the window just opened for your Medicare enrollment. If you're looking at that, or if you're already on Medicare, you should definitely take a look at your benefits right now. The window will remain open until December 7th. And according to many of our clients, they've been getting letters about increases in their premiums. And these are pretty hefty. So right now, if you're 65 or older, you have the chance to switch Medicare plans. Now, what's amazing is only about 10% of people out there do this. But you could be doing yourself a huge disservice because not only might you be able to save thousands of dollars every year by doing it, but you also might be leaving a lot of benefits that you otherwise might be entitled to on the table. So what do you need to know? These are some of the highlights you may want to look at this. First, you have until December 15th to review this in this year in 2024. So you can get on this now because the window just opened if you want to get more benefits and possibly save money or give up some of those benefits you don't really need that you're paying for. I recommend that you do this every year around this time because medical plans change and the benefits and the cost of those benefits just keep going up year after year after year. I mean, you talk about inflation. It's definitely baked into your medical care. So today, let's review some of the most common things you need to know when it comes to Medicare. All right, so first, have your prescriptions, have they gone up in cost? This happens if you've been prescribed a new medication or the medication you're on just fell off your Plan D list. You may have been on Plan D and now the medication is no longer covered and all of a sudden now you're paying more or all of it. You would have seen that this past September, by the way, if that's you. Next question you should be asking is, do you need a surgery and you want to stick with a particular doctor to do that surgery? Well, if you suffer or could suffer in addition from, say, cancer or a heart attack, we find that a specialist may be key to your treatment. So you might want to make sure you're on the traditional Medicare instead of Medicare Advantage. We're going to talk about this a lot today. So traditional Medicare, Medicare OG, I'll call it, versus Medicare Advantage. Those are sort of your two paths, and we'll go through that today quite a bit because it's confusing. Have you been diagnosed, say, with a chronic condition? Chronic condition, write that down. This is a serious medical change that triggers a full review of your Medicare coverage. Medicare Plan D will cover your new prescriptions for that. However, the care that's associated with a chronic condition runs out over time. So you want to have other plans to deal with that outside of what we're talking about today. So that's where you might want to go listen to my long-term care show, if that's you. Consider the type of care you're going to need. Should you stay with your, again, Medicare OG or switch to Medicare Advantage? This is the question. Is your former employer changing its retiree health benefits in any way? We've seen this a lot here locally. Some companies provide Medicare Gap supplemental insurance, and as they change their plans or your benefits, you could be in trouble. If that's the case and you're not sure about this, here's a phone number. Write this down. 855-798-2627. Again, 855-798-2627. To speak with someone to see whether you fall within a window in which the medical provider can't deny you based on your pre-existing condition. Are you thinking of spending part of your retirement each year in a different geographical area? You may recall we did a show on moving to other jurisdictions for tax reasons. I'll be talking more about Medicare Advantage plans versus original Medicare throughout the show. But know this, if you're thinking of living in, say, Northern California during the spring and spending your summers in Florida, Lake Michigan, Canada, well, you might want to think about OG Medicare. Why? Well, it could save you a heck of a lot of money. Next question to ask yourself, has your doctor dropped out of your network? Well, if you deeply want to stay with your doctor, ask them what they think you should do. You don't want to sacrifice long-term coverage for the sake of short-term satisfaction. Your doctor might recommend a colleague who is in your current plan so you don't lose more important long-term benefits. Next, if you're very healthy and you don't really need a doctor, I have some clients who are proud of the fact they don't see doctors for like 5, 6, 7 years, then you might want to look at the Medicare Advantage plan. These could save not only a bunch of money every month, but also pay for this, your gym, health checkups, tests you like to do. This could pay for that. So look into this stuff. Listen, if you're tuning in and you're not retired yet, Medicare is a topic that's as important as retirement. Even if you're already retired and you're not looking at these things, you need to become more informed because these change all the time. And if you just got that notice in September, you know what I'm talking about. It becomes more important because now you have more time to make some smart financial moves that could help put you in a better position where you don't have to rely on politicians to make the appropriate decisions when it comes to your health care through Medicare. Find out what your Medicare health care will look like by getting my Medicare report. This is fresh, off the press, ready for you. It's a free report. It's available right now. Give us a call and we will get it to you. Call this number if you want my Medicare report for $25. 866-PROTECT. You can find out what's coming before it's too late. Call this number, 866-PROTECT. Numerically, 866-776-8328. Adrian's sitting back there right now. Give him a call, 866-776-8328, and he will get you my Medicare report. Coming up next, oh yeah, it's time for our popular They Say segment, where they say, once you turn age 65, Medicare is yours for life and should cost you the same as everybody else. Really? Is that true? You're going to be surprised at the answer. You're listening to the Sandman on Protect Your Assets. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I am David Hollander, also known as the Sandman, and you are listening to Protect Your Assets this morning, and we are talking about a super important topic, which is Medicare and what you should be knowing about your health care in 2025. If you're just joining us, Medicare is changing once again, and in order to get in front of this and know what things are going to cost, we're trying to give you some ideas of things that are coming when it comes to your Medicare and choices you should be thinking about right now. And that reminds me, we still have a little bit of time in the year, about a couple months left, to actually do something when it comes to your taxes. This has been a pretty good year across all markets, and you may be sitting on some nice gains right now, or maybe you already realized some gains. And it's not too late to do something about the taxes you will pay on those next April. But if you wait until December 31st, it's all over. Now it's time for one of our fan favorite parts of the show. This is our They Say segment, where we debunk common myths, half-truths, and just sometimes bad advice that they say. All right, so here's one they say. They say that when you turn age 65, you get Medicare for life and everyone pays the same price. Is that true? No, it's not. If you choose traditional Medicare and your income, this is important, is above certain thresholds. There are different thresholds, by the way. I'm being sort of general here, but go look this up. You could pay more for Medicare Part B, which is your supplemental, and your prescription Medicare Part D supplements. Like what? Well, you can get Medicare A for life. If you were paying into the system, once you turn 65, you're entitled typically to Medicare Part A for life. But here's where it becomes tricky. They look at income thresholds for 25. Now, these haven't been announced yet, but for 2024, your premium for Part B and Part D come with a surcharge. And you need to include tax-free interest when you look at this total income number, okay? I'm talking about your tax return right now. So if yours is more than $103,000 if you're single, your income, all your income sources, or $206,000 if you're married filing jointly, then the surcharge that I'm talking about, this is what you're going to pay for your Medicare, Part B and D, adjusts based on your gross income from 2 years earlier. That's the way this works. So in 2025, you're going to pay $244.60 up to, get this, $594. It's quite a big difference, isn't it? Per month. We're talking about per month. This is just for Part B. And you're going to also pay an extra $12.90 all the way up to $81. I mean, that's another big jump for Part D, depending on your overall income. So that's why you want to look at this from a tax perspective, because it affects you. So when it comes to signing up and enrolling in Medicare, it's not straightforward. This is a different thing we're talking about. This is Medicare, just signing up for it. It can become real confusing real fast because there's a lot of choices. There's no way I could cover it here in this segment. So I'm going to break it down into a few things that you may want to consider, but please read all that material, look at it, find out what's best for you, and get some help. We have an expert who we work with in this area. She is very knowledgeable in this, and she can help you figure out which benefit makes the most sense for you. Now, if you are already taking Social Security benefits, you will automatically be enrolled in Part A and Part B, but you have to choose which Part B you want to go into. You could also turn it down because it has a monthly cost. If you keep it, that cost will be deducted from your Social Security if you have claimed your Social Security benefit. As I said, the window just opened to look at this Medicare option, and it's going to remain open until December 15th to enroll, or here's the big one, switch plans. And right now I am giving away a free report on Medicare, 866-PROTECT to get it. I know a lot of you have been calling. Try right now. It's not busy, 866-PROTECT. Why? Because you could switch plans and save a lot of money. I recommend you look at this now because you have until December 15th to do it. And options that weren't available last year may be available for you now. Next, you're going to have to make a decision. Do you go with, like I said earlier, traditional Medicare, I like to call it Medicare OG, or should you switch to the Medicare Advantage plan? Medicare Advantage plans used to be called Medicare Choice. These were set up under President Clinton in almost, can you believe it's been 25 years? Right now, 42% of Medicare recipients are enrolled in Medicare Advantage plans. And those numbers keep growing because for some people, Medicare Advantage plans make a lot more sense. Also, the advertising looks pretty good. You've got all these famous actors encouraging you to switch to MA plans, since gym memberships, transportation to the doctor, modifications to your home. These could all be covered. But the devil's in the details, and you need to look at all the pros and the cons of each program to see which one's right for you. And know this, being in a Medicare Advantage plan is going to be different than being under your traditional Medicare OG. If you're currently enrolled in OG and you want to see your doctor, you may or may not be able to do that if you switch to MA, Medicare Advantage. Moreover, if you want to see a particular specialist and they're not part of your Medicare Advantage plan, then they might say, no, you're not covered. You're going to have to pay for it out of pocket. And that's okay if you can afford that, but that's your choice. Currently, there are 5 companies that control 77% of the Medicare Advantage marketplace. I bet you know who they are. You've heard of these. Kaiser, United Healthcare, Humana, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and yes, CVS Health. The average number of Medicare Advantage plans available to you, over 30. Right now, you can get $75 a month towards buying your food through something known as the Healthy Food Card. And this is part of the Medicare Advantage allowance. If you decide to switch from your OG Medicare traditional plan to Medicare Advantage, know that it can be tricky to go back. So once you go, you may not be able to come back. It could be tough. Are you hoping that the government's going to take care of this for you when the time comes? Hope is not a strategy. Write that down. Hope is not a strategy. You may be saying, well, I have an advisor. Did you get a phone call lately? Any sort of heads up about what I'm talking about this morning? Have they discussed your options when it comes to open enrollment for Medicare, which just started now? It's not about changing your advisor. It's about becoming more informed, and it always makes sense to be more informed when it comes to your health care that you receive through Medicare. Because what you don't know, you don't know. Admit it. You don't even need to leave the comfort of your home to find out. We've created a fun, interactive way to get your questions answered right now, live. Call us, 866-PROTECT, and get my Medicare Made Easy guide right now for 2025, 866-PROTECT. Coming up next, you need an emergency. Do you go OG or MA? How do the two main forms of Medicare coverage compare, and what should you know before it's too late? Find out when I come back. It's all coming up next. Keep it right here. We're back. I'm David Hollander, also known as the Sandman around here. And this morning you're listening to Medicare Made Easy, how to get the best health care you can in 2025. So right now the window just opened for your Medicare. And so if you have it or you're looking to get it next year, now you need to make some decisions. You only have until December 15th to make some changes, which could hopefully get you some more benefits that you're looking for or could use, and at the same time save you a bunch of money when it comes to how much you pay for your health care next year. So this morning we've been going over some things you need to know to get the best health care for you and your loved ones. If you would like this special Medicare report we've put together, go ahead and give us a call right now, 866-776-8328. All right, so before the break, I was talking about your Medicare. And let's say you need an emergency procedure. So, of course, these are the ones you don't see coming, right? Everything's great. You're rolling down the highway. Next thing you know, something happens. This happens all the time, by the way, at least in my practice. I hear about these things all the time. So anyway, something happens, and it's an emergency, and you are needing an important type of surgery. Should you go with your traditional Medicare? This morning I've been affectionately calling it Medicare OG. Or should you switch to a Medicare Advantage plan? Good question. Well, usually under OG Medicare, you can go to any emergency room. And you can add to that usually any doctor you want. Under Medicare Advantage, you can get care in an ER, but not any ER. There might be a copay depending on where you end up. So that's just something to know that, again, depending on where you travel, what you do, you're going to want to talk to somebody who understands this because, again, you may be hiking somewhere up in some mountains in some country or state where Medicare OG is better than Medicare Advantage. And it'd be important to know that if you're active and you do this. What else should you know? Well, you know the ambulance you're going to ride in? Yeah. Well, the ambulance ride typically is free under Medicare Advantage, but it could cost you 20% of the actual cost under OG Medicare. So there's a difference right there. With OG, unless you have the proper supplement, you're going to pay a share of the ER visit and each medical service you receive, plus a 20% coinsurance for the emergency room. And oh, by the way, any doctor fees that go along with that, if you haven't seen a hospital bill lately, we can show you some. They're scary. Well, those are fees that you may have to pay. So just be wary and be aware of those and make sure you have the liquid resources to take care of that sort of thing. Now, also with Medicare Advantage, if your doctor determines your procedure is, write this down, not extremely urgent, I'm not making this up, extremely urgent, then you may face high bills unless you wait and switch to a hospital in the network. Yeah, I know. If you feel like any of today's show was helpful to you, then just imagine what you could accomplish when you get advice that's tailored to you. This month, we are kicking off all the new ways to get care in your home should you need it. This is the long-term care. I didn't even talk about this today. This is what the chronic care, not covered by Medicare after a certain period of time. It's a very short one, by the way, too. This whole month, we're going to be talking about it. We have special reports. We have all sorts of things you can get to get more information about this. So if you want to know about this very, very important, expensive subject, get educated and find out many ways to do it. Visit our website to start out. Go to libertygroupllc.com, libertygroupllc.com, where we have all sorts of things you can read about this. And of course, if you have a question, you want to get connected to somebody who can help you, then pick up the phone now and dial this number. My team's standing by right now. They'll talk to you. 866-PROTECT is the number to protect yourself. 866-PROTECT, and find out all the new things that are coming in 2025. Numerically, 866-776-8328. Call us right now. Adrian, Lucas are back there, 866-PROTECT, and they'll be more than happy to assist you. I'd like to give a big thanks to the Protect Your Assets team for putting together a great show today. How timely and topic is this? Remember, December 15th, write that down. You don't have much time, December 15th, to look at your Medicare. Executive producer, network manager, Kevin Renfert, and of course, all my fabulous producers this morning doing the work. Raph, Adrian, Lucas, Phil, thanks guys. Because without my team, just another pretty voice on the radio. You've been listening to Protect Your Assets Show. I am David Hollander, the Sandman. Go out and make the rest of your life the best of your life.